What's up, dude? Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So it is like fall here, which is crazy because the other day it was like hot and humid, like in the 90s, and now it's like 70s and really chilly at night. Last night I think it was down at like 49 or something, so that's, oh my gosh, excuse me. Sorry, that's why I'm in a hoodie. I also feel like now I'm hitting kind of my midday slump right around noon, but we have a video to talk about, and this one's very frustrating. Kiana Griffin, 25 years old, was born on March 8th, 1994. But on March 13th, 2019, just after 10 a.m., the Grand Rapids, Michigan Police Department received a 911 call.
911 emergency.
Hi, I need help.
Hello?
I need help.
Okay, where are you located? I'm sorry, ma'am, I can't hear you. Are you able to tell me where you're located?
No.
Are you at a...
553 Sheldon Avenue Southeast. Please hurry now.
Okay, I got Sheldon. What's the number?
553. Hurry, please hurry up.
553 Sheldon. Okay, can you tell me what's going on there?
You just hurry up, please. I'm gonna die. You're trying to kill me. You already killed my family. You need to hurry up, please.
Okay, ma'am, I'll start the police that way. Can you tell me what your name is?
Kiana.
Who's the person who's causing trouble there?
Please hurry up. He's about to kill me. Please hurry up.
The caller was in fact Kiana, and 7 minutes and 41 seconds after the call got cut off, 3 officers responded to the home. One of the officers knocked on the front door, but there was no answer. He tried the doorknob, but the house was locked. One of the officers tried to get the dispatchers to get the caller back on the phone, but like the door, there was no response.
Do they have an apartment number? Guessing it's not that one. Can you try and call back? Try the side door. 10-4. We're not getting any answer in the front door. That thing looks big. 1878. Can you run license plate? Seems like it's empty.
You can see it. It looks like a little dining room or something there. It's empty.
This goes around. There's nothing back here.
This call looked interesting.
Fun?
I'm trying to kill her. Sounds like she could be 96 too, you know. You can see it. It looks like a little dining room or something in there. It's empty.
This just goes around. There's nothing in the back here. Looks like there's a fence on the other side.
I heard Russ put in for that background
So did I.
spot. Just 2 people.
Yep.
Who was the other person?
Katie.
She's working Central right now, right?
Did I say you wanted to join the fun? I thought I saw it. The one over there. I think that's where Dave's going. That's a very happy looking dog. Go make friends with it. It is. This just goes around. There's nothing in the back here. Looks like there's a fence on the other side, but
Then, 2 hours and 18 minutes later, there was a second 911 call. Come to 553 Sheldon. There's blood everywhere and my sister's not moving, pleaded Sanford Cummings II. Sanford was Kiana's brother who found her dead on the floor of an upstairs bedroom. 553 Sheldon Southeast. It's a yellow house. Please hurry up. My sister's not moving, he cried. It only took the Grand Rapids police 7 minutes to get to the house for the second time that day. Kiana had been shot 4 times in total with 1 shot to the face. Just like Kiana had whispered to the 911 dispatcher, her aunt, Charlotta Baber Bay, 47 years old, was dead on her bed under a blanket. Now, you can find some crime scene photos. It's just like blood splatters and stuff like that. I didn't really feel like that was necessary to include, so I didn't. But it appeared like she had been shot from behind in the head as she laid like propped up with a pillow next to her while watching a video on her iPad, so she was probably just like laying on her stomach. She still had her headphones in her ears when they found her, and her video was actually, or like her phone was, or the iPad, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, the iPad was still playing. At the time, 4 people had been living in the house. Jacqueline Baber Bay was the owner of the home, but she had been working that morning since 8 a.m. The 4th resident, Charlotta's boyfriend, was missing. So it was Charlotta, Jacqueline, Kiana, and then the boyfriend, but he was missing. He lived in the house for about 2 years at this point, but the family only knew him as Jay. Now, we will figure out his real name, but for the sake of just kind of making sense and whatever, I'm just going to keep referring to him as Jay. Family told police that Charlotta, who they described as sweet, trusting, and nurturing, had never been like very social. Jay was her first real boyfriend, and the couple kept to themselves, spending most of their time in the bedroom, so it's kind of safe to assume that Kiana didn't really know him that great either, probably. What we were gathering was that most did not care for Jay and did not speak to him often, Grand Rapids Police Detective Kelly Bratt told, like, in her report. We were told Jay did not have a job, he did not use Facebook as far as they knew, he did not know any of his family, and they did not have a phone number for him. And they also noted that the family only knew that Jay had gone to jail for failing to pay child support. Like, that was it. While searching Charlotta's closet, I observed an orange Nike shoebox on the uppermost shelf in the closet, Detective Amanda Johnson wrote in like the report as well. As I began to go through the items in the box, I found some old jail mail, letters to Charlotta from a man named Daryl Brown. I read a few of the letters, and in one of them, Daryl tells Charlotta that his name is Daryl, but he goes by Jay, and all of the letters were signed Jay. In an alley northwest of the home, detectives found a discarded box of ammo. There on the ground next to the very fresh box of ammunition was a white plastic bag with what appeared to be the muzzle of a gun sticking out and visible, Captain Kristen Rogers wrote in her follow-up report. The ammo was for a 9mm high-point pistol, which matched the casings found at the crime scene as well. The detectives also reported that when officers searched the home, more specifically Charletta's bedroom, they found an empty high-point gun box amongst men's clothing inside a dresser. In the gun box, officers found the gun's purchase permit, which included the name of the pistol's buyer, which was a woman. The officers also now had the gun's serial number, which is really good to know too. When officers looked into the name and serial number, they got back two very helpful reports. So this woman is not named in any of the news reports that I read and whatnot. So if you know it, please do not comment it, because for good reason, and you'll learn here in a second, I think she wants to stay anonymous. One was the woman listing her gun as stolen in July 2017, and then the second record report was a complaint filed by the same woman about harassing texts that she had been getting. In that report, she complains that her ex-boyfriend, known as Jay, had been harassing her by cell phone, Detective Sergeant Perlee wrote. The gun was taken roughly around the same time that the woman began dating Jay. The woman had reported that Jay had been very commanding during their relationship. After the murders took place, police began looking at surveillance footage around the area. One of his stops, after the murder, was at the Grand Rapids Children's Museum, which is very odd. He entered at 3:24 p.m. the day of the double murder and then left 12 minutes later at 3:36 p.m. An employee told Target 8 News that Jay had gone to the front, or had told the front desk that he knew somebody in the building. A museum staff reportedly made it clear to him that he couldn't just wander the museum. 20 minutes later, Jay was caught on camera walking on a street in town. Then it was discovered that a former girlfriend had dropped him off in the area. It was a business's surveillance footage that caught him in that area of town. But then there was absolutely no more traces of him. It was he just disappeared. The unusual part about this is how he's been able to just completely disappear. Becker, the county prosecutor, told Target 8. Usually we have something, and the police are very good at tracking suspects down, especially in homicide cases, especially in double homicide cases. When Target 8 tried to contact Jay's family, a woman told them, "Get your," and then it's bleeped out, "away from my house." Becker told Target 8 that Jay has long lived off the grid, which makes it more difficult to find him. And like I said, as far as authorities know, he didn't have any friends, he wasn't on social media, and he didn't have a job. So that makes it incredibly hard to find him. But now we're going to jump back several years ago and kind of talk about the woman that filed some police reports. So several years ago, a pastor in Grand Rapids, Reverend Robert Dean, took in a homeless man. He let him stay in the church, and he quoted saying, "He was always very helpful, shoveling snow, cutting grass. I don't think there was anything quirky, nothing that would arrest your attention. Totally unassuming, totally mild-mannered." The man's name was Daryl, well, it's spelled like Demon Brown, but it's really Jay. Robert saw a man rummaging through a dumpster, and that's when he decided to take him in. He's a pastor, he's trying to do the right thing, you can't blame him. It was okay, you look disheveled, you haven't taken a bath or shaved. What are you doing? He said, Robert. "Well, I don't have a place to stay," said Jay, recalling the day that he offered Jay a room at the church. 3 months into Jay's stay at the church, Robert got a call from a woman who knew that he was Jay's pastor and asked to talk with him. So when she got to the church's office, she explained that Jay had forbidden her from talking to any other men, which is something that her job requires. The woman wanted Robert to try to counsel Jay to just get him to change a little bit and see that it's okay. He can trust her. She needs to talk to men for her job. And then Robert said she felt he was very nice, very mannerable, but then there was this certain little element that she was afraid of. And he said that then he advised her to exit the relationship, that it wasn't at all healthy. And then that is when Jay barged into the office where Robert and the woman were talking. I was like, oh, I was just talking about you. And he's like, I forbid her to talk to males, recalled Robert. I said, oh, no, you're not. I said, sit down. This is my office. You can't tell nobody what to do. Then Jay jumped at the woman like he was going to hit her. And then Robert says, he jumps up out of his chair and says, I'll slap you. And then Robert went on to say that like Brown did not make good on his threat because he quickly moved to restrain Jay. I said, you get your stuff and you get out of here. You leave her alone. And then Robert told Jay to just like leave and never come back. Because you can't have someone like that around a church and around other people like threatening physical harm. Like that's just not cool. For me, it was almost like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, because I'm like, what? It was shocking, Robert said. The family of the two women that were murdered, Kiana and Charlotta, said that they felt like because the two women lived in kind of a lower income like housing development, neighborhood, they felt like that was why the police didn't try harder to get into the home. They were like, so you hear someone on the phone telling you that someone's been murdered and you don't try to like barge in and like actually assess the situation. But that's also really tricky because without a warrant, if everything ended up being fine, they could have potentially gotten in trouble for entering without a warrant. And the police were like, well, there were no signs of any sort of a struggle. There were no noises coming from the house. Like, it was quiet. They had no cause other than the 911 call that unfortunately got cut off to go into the home. So it's really tricky. Like, what do you do in that situation? I wish there was a more black and white answer, but there just isn't. Like, I get where the police are coming from, and I totally get where the family's coming from as well. However, Jay's been on the run since the murders on March 13th, 2019. So here is his wanted poster. If you have any information, definitely call the number on the poster, but like that's it. That's just where this case ends. I'm sorry, I wish I had more answers, but this has been reported on so little that it was hard to get more information. If you guys know anything more about this case, definitely comment down below. If you have anything to add, I'm sure everyone else would be interested to hear it. I also do have my case sources linked in the description box down below too, so if you want to read a little bit more, absolutely feel free to. But that is it for me today. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you all stay safe. I hope you have a great day. I hope this week has been going well for you. Make sure to get outside, touch some grass, breathe some air, have a good day, and I will be back on Wednesday with another video. Bye guys.